soon as you reach level 80 as a new player, you probably want to try out World vs. World because it's a very unique game mode in Guild Wars 2. But it might be very confusing to start out. Today, we're gonna solve this issue. I want to explain everything that you need to know to get a basic understanding of Guild Wars 2 World vs. World. So let's start by how do you get there. You can either press the default keybind B to open this window and use whatever current map you want to go on. If there's a queue, you might wait, but you can also go to another. There's another way to get there. For example, you can go to Lion's Arch on the map, and here in the south, go to the Mist portal, PUI, and here there are multiple portals where you can walk through to get there. And let's explain the basic features and UI. So you can carry supplies, which is pointed out here. Supplies are needed to build, siege, and repair structures. This is the key feature of what makes World vs. World different than normal PvE maps, is that you have structures on them, objectives that you need to capture, that you need to defend, and they have destructible things like walls, like gates, and you need siege to destroy them, or repair them for that matter. So it's really important that you have always supplies with you if you want to build, for example, a frame, ram, or an arrow cart. All of these things need supply, and typically you need more than you can carry alone, so it's typically a group effort to do this. So this is what you see here. Other than that, let's talk a little bit about the reward structure. So World vs. World is a continuous game mode that you can play almost permanently. And the thing is, you have here this timer, and this always counts down from 5 minutes to 0. When it reaches 0, you get the tick as a reward. What does that mean? You get rewarded based on your participation. You see your participation here and above the minimap. So tier 6 participation is the highest participation you can get. That means if you do events, if you kill enemy players, whatever, if you just participate in the usual gameplay on those maps, you higher your participation from tier 0, nothing, to tier 6, and then you have the highest amount of participation. You can see here, I get now almost 200 points of reward track. And what does that mean? That means as soon as the tick is over, so the 5 minutes are over, I get rewarded for how much participation I have. If I have participation tier 6, I get the highest amount. I can see that here on the match overview. I will get pips if I am above a certain threshold of participation to earn pips, and then reward track I will also get. So there are two features that give you rewards. The first one is reward track. You get almost 200 points if you have the tier 6 one up here, and some Oni. You get more rewards just by playing the game mode every 5 minutes. You get a little bit more of the reward tag. In the end, you get the big chest. You can select a lot of reward tags. Not all of them are available when you start out the game, but you can unlock them, and you choose the one that is currently the best for you. This is the first feature, how to get stuff. Then of course, by completing events and doing other stuff in the maps, you get also rewarded. But of course, another feature is just for staying in a map and playing long-term World vs. World. You have those weekly chests. Yeah, they start out with wood and they go up to diamond. Yeah, and the diamond one is even repeatable. You get some special stuff that you can only get from there, like World vs. World Skirmish claim tickets. Those are really important for legendaries and that kind of stuff, and they are time gated. So you only get them weekly from those chests. So those chests reset every Friday at reset. And that means that you have to grind up, and at Friday they will reset and you start out at wood again. Again, you get pips corresponding to how well your server is currently doing in the matchup. Also how high your reward, your World vs. World rank is. We get to that in a second. But also, for example, you get more for having completed the wood division in the previous week. So if you play consistent every week, you get more rewarded for the next week. There are other things that influence it, like Commander. So let's talk about the next thing. With the timer, not only rewards are given out, but also rewards for the server are given out. That means if your server currently holds 11 camps, like mine does, they get more points than a server that has only 7 points if you only look at that. But of course, there are other things like camp, tower, keeps, and castle. There's only one castle. And over all the maps, we have 4 maps. Over all them, we sum up and we get the points that are rewarded after this 5-minute timer is concluded. So every 5 minutes, it will be checked which objectives are captured by which team, and we get points for that. There are currently always 3 teams per map, and we just fight for 1 week until there's the next reset. Then we will, my server, I'm currently on Squid Swap, we will get mixed again with 2 other enemy teams. Over the course of the match, we get a lot of points, which is called the war score. And we get at the end, the highest one will receive nothing because we don't get any rewards for being better. We just are placed with better servers or with worse servers if we lose. It's not only the objectives that you capture that give points, it's also the kills that you get. So if you have a lot of kills in a matchup, you get a lot of points just by killing them. So killing a player gives a point, and if you stomp them, it gives bonus points. So it's really important that you notice that if you kill a lot of people, you actually get rewarded for it as well. You can see now here in the participation, I'm now almost running out. So I have a 10-minute timer after killing a player, after competing in a major event, that I don't have to do anything. But if I stay around for not doing anything, then I might lose participation after 10 minutes. So now I have to do something, otherwise my participation will slowly decrease. Which is of course not something I want, because then I will get less rewards and in the end I won't get any rewards anymore. Another way that you can receive rewards from World vs. World is the achievements. Of course you have a lot of achievements that give you titles and are really long-lasting grinds, for example Ultimate Dominator and the higher versions of it, where you have to kill a lot of people in the game, but you can also get the weekly World vs. World achievement where you complete, for example, capping 15 camps. And then you get a small reward, and if you go for 3 or 6 of those bigger achievements, you get a higher amount of gold, for example. This is a nice way of just doing stuff and getting rewarded for playing the game more. In GW2, the maximum level is level 80. However, as soon as you enter World vs. World, even if you're before level 80, you get a different experience bar. And this experience bar needs lower amounts in the beginning, but quite soon you reach 5,000 points that you need to get to the next rank. The highest rank is 10,000, and you can rank up quite fast if you know what you're doing, when you fight a lot of people, if you do with all the boosters. But those ranks are not only rewarding you with some gold, but also giving you, if you reach 10,000, you can get the God of World vs. World title. Other than that, the rank gives you the ability to rank up some special abilities for World vs. World, like Arrow Card Mastery and all the masteries of the sieges, but also, for example, Guard Killer, which gives you more damage to guards or reduces the damage from guards, gives you some nice features. There are a lot of masteries that you can get here. The important ones to point out are War Gliding, to enable gliding in World vs. World, which is important. Then the War Claw, to run around faster, to increase your supply capacity. Then, of course, Provisioner's Master, if you want to get loot from the various vendors, you can cover over here to see what you will get of the stuff. But it needs quite a lot of ranks in the beginning, but as you can see, I'm not even halfway to 10,000 and I have everything maxed, so it's not really that necessary. You can get also Mercenary's Bane and that kind of stuff to get some more buffs, and Guard Killer, get some buffs. For example, you can get more endurance back when you kill guards, can be helpful for roaming. And of course, defense against guards, the same thing, you get resolution if you take damage from guards, so that can all be helpful for roaming. Of course, the masteries for the special siege can be helpful, but I would say that's the last thing I would go for. I would always go for the ones that, like defense against guards, Mercenaries Bane, Guard Killer, those things, Provisioner's Master. They are more useful than the Siege Golem Mastery. Typically, that's not really necessary. But if you like it, sure, go for it. In the end, you will of course have all of them if you just play a little bit for a longer time. So if the specific number, how many players per team are on the current map, you can't get more players on the map, but it's not meaning that the enemy team has to have the same number. That means that if the enemy team has already maximum, that doesn't mean you can get more people in. It's just kept on their side. And if every single one of those maps is full, you could go to the Edge of the Mist, which is an overflow map that will be generated as much as it needed to. So it will have 10 versions if there are a lot of players playing. But typically nowadays it's not the case anymore. And then lastly, you can get here also by turning this on, you can repeat this reward track infinitely if you need to on all the rewards all the time. And lastly, you can of course get to all the vendors here. I won't talk about them in detail. It's just every single starter respawn map on the border here, but also on the Eternal Battlegrounds, and of course the map that you're currently, or your server is, so to say, the home borderland. You have all those vendors all the time. When it comes to the maps, you can teleport around as soon as you enter the mists to the corresponding waypoint that is unlocked for your server. So I can teleport here If it's contested, I can't see that if it's on another map, but it will teleport me still to another map waypoint. Other than that, all the Alpine borderlands, so we have 2 Alpine borderlands, they have the same layout. We have 1 desert borderland, this is a different layout, a little bigger from the distances to walk. And you have Eternal Battlegrounds, where it's a little bit smaller, where you have more action going on, especially in the middle around the Stonemist Castle. One thing that I also have to mention, that every single, if you capture a thing, it will have a 5-minute timer before it can be recaptured. So the guard that guards it is invulnerable until this time runs out. And this is important because you need to be aware of that, and you can see that by hovering over the points. So you can see here, protected from capture for another 3.5 minutes. So that means you don't need to run there before that because you can't capture it anyway. Let's now talk quickly about what World vs. World consists of. So World vs. World has 3 major play styles that you can do. You can do circ play, which means you playing, let's say, at least with 15, maybe 20 players together in a squad. Up to 50 players, maybe even more, that are playing together, going for objectives, either killing enemies or just going for the objectives, which is called PPT, points per tick, or are just wanting to fight enemies and defending objectives and that kind of stuff. And you typically go for a really organized party there and try to organize subgroups in a way that you have, let's say, 2 to 4 supports plus 1 to 3 DPS, depending on how aggressive you want to be. And there are various builds that you can run there, but it's always there's some kind of meta, of course. It's really intricate what you can do. I won't go into detail here. The opposite of that would be roaming, so you run around alone or with up to 5 people or something like that. Small scale roaming, you try to capture camps, try to kill enemy players that are respawning, or you just want to deny Dolyaks for getting upgrades to the corresponding towers, which is of course the way how it works. So you just have a Dolyak spawning that runs then to the tower. As soon as the tower gets enough Dolyaks in, it will upgrade to a higher tier and will be harder to capture and easier to defend, but gives also more reward if you can capture it then. Yeah. Then you also have, for example, as a roamer, you can go for ruins. If you capture a lot of ruins and hold them, you get some bonus points for killing enemies, and that's what typically what roamers do, and also just do one-on-ones, for example. And then there's the middle ground where you have people that are going for 15 versus 15, maybe very organized GVGs, so guild versus guild, where you have really organized, just focused around fighting each other. So as soon as you win against the 15 other players, the match is over, so to say, and you go for another round. It's not all about objectives, it's just fighting each other and killing each other. Typically that happens around here, for example, where also the one-on-one spot is, so to say. But, or here, it's in the end a very community-driven event. It's not like the game itself has it built in. The only thing that is built in when it comes to GVG and that kind of stuff is that Edge of the Mist actually has an arena where you can place yourself on a team that you want to, and you can actually do some GVG in that sense. So I hope you enjoyed this quick guide. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Let me know in the comments if I forgot anything. If you want to know anything more, I can do a second video that follows up on this. Thanks a lot for all my supporters on Patreon, Twitch and YouTube. Thanks Malice, thanks Timo, and I hope to see you all in the next video.